Hello, fellow beings of light, and welcome to episode 25 of our podcast. Today, we will be delving into the what of Sirius C and the who of its unicorns. Half discussion and half meditation journey to connect with both as promised in our 8-8 portal activation, because this was an episode that came through for me out of nowhere last month, and I had set it aside for later instead of seeing it as the opportunity that it was. An opportunity for me to be more spontaneous and in the moment with what I'm receiving, what is coming through, and also an opportunity to step into and embody the next phase of my personal journey and the next phase of this podcast. I'm grateful to be circling back around to it, though, to be being called to do so and to being allowed to do so by my team and the universe. And this one will be a bit different from what you're used to from us, from me, because of that, how it was received, or perhaps it won't be. In some ways, maybe not others. Vague, I know, right? But that is because I genuinely don't know. What I know is that this episode is a departure from the flow of what we usually discuss, what we have been building on together over the last 6 to 9 months. But at the same time, I want to say that it's related, relevant. It's like a side quest, which is literally the name I use for the random things, all the random pieces that come through for me that I don't quite know where they belong or how they fit in yet. They are just there. And maybe I explore them a bit, or maybe I set them aside and wait to receive something else related to them. What we are delving into today, it's one of those random things, one of those random pieces, a very recent one that I'm being called to share with all of you, to have you join me in this particular side quest for reasons that I believe will differ from one of you to the next. But I'm being told that if you're feeling called to listen to this episode and to embark on the meditation journey within it with me, then there is a reason. Now, when I say this is a very recent piece for me, I mean that. Despite what I'll be disclosing later, I'm sure, unicorns, and in turn Sirius C, weren't even a thought or a thing in terms of seeing or receiving for me until 2 months ago, June, the weekend of the summer solstice, my trip to Mount Shasta for a retreat. I know, big surprise there. A lot of things coming out of that. But that is where we're going to begin, because I believe it is important to share not just the what and who, or whatever we are getting into in any given episode, but the how of the journey that brought me to what I am sharing with all of you. I was fortunate to not only discover the retreat I attended, but to travel there with a good friend and fellow lightworker that I met in a course I took back at the beginning of the year. And because of that, because of her, I was in the know about a crystal shop in Mount Shasta, the Crystal Matrix. More importantly, I was in the know about its owner, Mazaba. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He is an individual who is very connected in galactically and beyond, and who will connect with you and who is around you to select a crystal for you. I can personally attest to the fact that he is the real deal. Even as high frequency as I am, and how rarely I have been encountering individuals or things that throw me off balance from that frequency since I achieved it, him connecting with my field and who and what was working within it in that moment, it shook my frequency. I quite literally almost melted into a pile of goo on the floor of his shop. I am not kidding. What was coming from him and through him was that strong. And what he found when he connected in with me was unicorns surrounding me. I was very caught off guard by that because, again, unicorns weren't a thing I had received or worked with. They weren't a thing for me personally in my journey. And suddenly, in this small crystal shop, I was literally surrounded by them, and I could feel the energy of that and of them, their energy, their innocence, their playfulness. I walked away from that shop with a lithium quartz crystal that most definitely belongs to me and most definitely is connected with unicorns. But that's not all I walked away from Shasta with when it comes to unicorns. The house share that we were in, it had an individual that creates mala beads and other jewelry. I believe it was Phoenix Oracle gems. And while I was there, I kept finding myself drawn to a particular set of mala beads in various pastel colors. It reminds me kind of cotton candy. And when I finally looked at the tag for it, it was morganite, which is associated with unconditional love and returning to innocence. But the tag also indicated the piece was associated with the unicorn realm. I was like, okay, I get you, universe. I see what you're doing here. I receive the flashing signs. I will connect with the unicorns. And oddly enough, I haven't resisted doing that like I do with some other things that are kind of new and out there when it comes to what I'm working on and what I've been receiving. In fact, I've been pretty inseparable from that crystal and that set of mala beads since Shasta. They are beside my laptop when I'm working and recording. They are beside me when I'm meditating and connecting in. It has just felt right to have them by me, natural. I'm not surprised by that, though. I've long understood that I possess the frequency of innocence that we got into during the 8-8 portal activation as part of my being the 9D fragment of my galactic monad's consciousness. I've also received and come to understand that part of my mission and purpose involves returning others to innocence, not simply removing distortions and restoring unconditional truths, but allowing others to return to a state of innocence that allows them to receive and trust in those truths, that allows them to achieve an expanding state of 0 point energy that allows for expanding ease in all things for them. The crystal, the mala beads, they lean towards those things, as do unicorns. And they were in my field for a few weeks before I signed up for a 3-day live series on Sirius A, B, and C, mid-July, with Temples of Atlantis. The same friend from the Shasta retreat did the first two, Sirius A and B, and I got called to do Sirius C with no idea what I was getting into and without having delved into or received about Sirius C before, simply because the preview said unicorns. And again, I was like, okay, I see it. Let's do it. The discussion and meditation that day opened me up to so many things, not just about Sirius C and the unicorns in general, but the remembrance of my connection to both and my understanding of what Sirius C is and who the unicorns are. Mind was completely blown. And that day was what originally triggered the receiving of this episode, what we will be delving into today. But as I said, I ignored it and set it aside for later instead of sitting down and recording an episode that week while I was in the energy and the moment of it. That decision was on me and my human brain, not on my team and their habit of delaying things for timing or other purposes, which they do all the time. Yeah, team. I'm not blaming you guys for once. Enjoy it while it lasts. And I do have to apologize for that because we got into Sirius C and the unicorns in our 8-8 portal activation. And we did so without a lot of context that we could have had that might have been useful had I recorded this episode when I was first called to do so. But I'm giving myself grace for that. And again, I'm grateful that we are circling back around to it now. I'm also seeing the silver lining that because I delayed it, we are getting to do a second meditation journey with Sirius C and the unicorns today, beyond that portal activation, instead of just the one. But first, the discussion of what I've received, what I've channeled about both. I'm actually finding myself a bit conflicted on what to begin with. The what of Sirius C or the who of the unicorns. And I think that's because it's sort of a chicken and the egg dilemma of which came first, or in this case, which should go first. So I'm going to tune in for a minute with my team. I'm getting Isis, as she is very connected to both. Maybe even Toth. Archangel Raphael. Interesting. I hadn't received any connection for him to either before, but he's definitely coming forward. Not being asked to dig into that though. So, okay, let's start off with the what of Sirius C. Some may already be familiar with the fact that, unlike Sirius A and B, Sirius C is not a physical star, not a physical point in the universe. If you were to look for it through a telescope, it's not there. You won't find it. That is because, much like the temples we visited during our 8-8 portal activation, and like our own temple, the Temple of the Third Breath, Sirius C exists in a 0-point state. It is a place within and beyond form, within and outside of time, everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It is energetic, not physical. Why the connection to Sirius then? That one is actually easy. Because Syrian Star Mother Isis, in her original archangel form, initiated it. Not created it, but initiated and facilitated its creation. And she still oversees it, even now. Sirius C is a gathering place, home to and created by a specific set of souls that are already incarnated on Earth or earthbound in the future. And to understand who those souls are, we are going to get into a condensed version of monad separation. Those who regularly listen to this podcast will likely already know what I'm about to say. So this is a recap for you and a basic foundation block for everyone else. Galactic monads are whole beings of light, belonging to the various galactic races. They are who humans, the souls incarnated into human form, were separated from. This is knowledge most know. What I have received and added to that knowledge of monads is the fact that each galactic monad that chose to separated into 6 pieces, 6 consciousness fragments, what we consider 4D to 9D. The fragments between 3D Earth and the 10D wholeness that is full monad or being of light state. And because of this, each soul contains a 1/6 consciousness fragment of their galactic monad, a fragment that is associated with their unique purpose and, more specifically, their unique abilities. The easiest example to understand, those souls who are a 4D fragment can not only master the astral travel abilities of astral projection and consciousness streaming easier than the other fragments, but they possess a sort of superpower when it comes to 4D abilities that the others cannot. In my monad's case, her 4D fragment has the ability to time loop. That fragment's incarnation was in the mid-1800s, yet she has never actually died. She instead initiated a constant loop of time jumping for the purpose of aiding me in my missions and purpose now. Myself personally, I am a 9D fragment. 9D fragments contain the closest to oneness and unity, to source will, that a fragment can possess. That is what we can achieve within and without easier than other fragments. We inherently possess the rainbow of all frequencies as one, all rays. And while that's a nice bonus, one that helps us achieve constant 0 point energy and what most would consider ascended master status easier, possessing all of them, it's not our superpower. Our superpower is instead one that I've honestly often debated in the past whether it is on the same level of cool, of badassery that the other fragment superpowers are. Before I realized that they're all equally so, none of them are better than the others. It's not easy to break out of the human grass is greener on the other side view, but we must, we have to. So, what is our superpower as 9D fragments? 9D fragments are able to infinitely hold the frequency of innocence, regardless of whatever circumstances or experiences, whatever traumas our human incarnations must endure to achieve remembrance and reconvergence. We cannot lose it. We hold our innocence. We hold unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope, no matter what. We also giggle and laugh a lot, if you haven't noticed that from me already. Even on our hardest days, in our lowest moments, we can still find a way to giggle, to laugh, to smile. It's not a coping mechanism. I used to think it was for me, but now I realize it's just us. It's me. It's being a 9D fragment. If you know a constant giggler, who always seems light no matter what, and who lightens you just by being in their presence and around their energy, 99.8% chance they are a 90 fragment as well. That frequency of innocence is what we delved into and connected with during our 8-8 portal activation and journey to Sirius C. A frequency that most incarnated on Earth lose and have to find their way back to. A frequency that is removed from those who lose it by the guardians of the Order of the Sacred White Flame in order to protect it and keep it pure for all until individuals are able to reach a state of 0 point where they are able to reclaim it, to hold it safely without risk of distorting it. And in case it's not already obvious, the reason I'm explaining 90 fragments in such detail, it is because Sirius C was initiated for and created by 90 fragments. Those souls containing the 90 fragment of their galactic monad. There is your what. Sirius C is a safe haven for souls containing the 90 fragment of their galactic monad. A safe haven that surrounds them in a constant, protected, undistorted flow of the frequency of innocence. A safe haven they inhabit between incarnations. A safe haven that they can return to, spend extended periods of time, but not time really, in, and create from at will. A safe haven that serves as a source of fuel for not just their own frequency of innocence, but the frequency of innocence for us all. Fuel that maintains it, keeps it protected, free of distortion for all. That is why Isis, in her original archangel form, initiated it. Knowing, being able to see beforehand that the human race would endure the same separation and distortions that occurred above. She initiated this safe haven for the frequency of innocence, for those able to hold it, so that it could infinitely be held for all until the time that all can return to it. And I once again say that she initiated it instead of she created it, because what she did was essentially equivalent to us creating sacred circles or containers. She drew the outline and 90 fragments. They filled it. They painted it with their rainbow of rays, with their various galactic origins, and with the frequency of innocence. Childlike imagination. Oh boy, the emotion I keep getting hit with during these more recent episodes and activations are a lot. Whew. Sirius C, its environment and everything and every being contained within it, it isn't representative of a single galactic race as the others are. It is truly representative of every galactic race brought together, united into one creation. Are you getting where I'm being led by what I'm receiving right now in this moment? Earth, the human race, made up of separated monads, was created for the same purpose, to be representative of every galactic race, brought together, united as one, to bring all races that came before it back together, united as one. But as I've already indicated in past episodes, the blueprint Earth was seeded with was one of separation and distortion, essentially dooming the human race to, at least initially, repeat the same mistakes made by above, repeat the loss of pure truth, pure oneness, innocence, like above. But, yep, another but. I said initially, because unlike above, Earth and the human race have a dedicated set of separated fragments that are incapable of losing pure truth and pure oneness, of losing innocence. The 90 fragments and the safe haven where they are infinitely holding it for all until the time that all can return to it. First below, then above. Earth and the human race have hope for the return to it. And while the colors and imagination that 90 fragments, like myself, have put into the environment of Sirius C are both beautiful and very childlike in many ways, my favorite part of it are the creatures that reside there, that have been created there. Not talking about the unicorns, though. We'll get to those later. I am talking about dragons, dolphins, whales, and more, created by the 90 fragments from their starseed origins. Because Sirius C is a melting pot of starseed origins, of the races those starseeds originated from. Each 90 fragment created their own pieces of it to feel and look like home, from the colors and plants to the creatures. Well, most did anyway. You will find that my soul's creations there, they're more of a hybrid nature, and not in the sense that I'm an Andromedan Lyran hybrid starseed, but rather I think it's because of my remembrance of my galactic monad spending time with and collecting information from each of the galactic races during the planning of Earth. So, yeah, my soul, its childlike imagination, created a lot of hybrid colors and plants and a lot of hybrid creatures that reside in Sirius C and that have often joined us for journeys during activations I've done. The small half raven, half dragons that aid us in the void journeys, the dragon head with 3 snake bodies that weave through past, present, and future, and many other creatures. I always thought they belonged to the guides leading those activations, but no, they are definitely mine. Isis is actually sharing that any chaos, the pure and innocent kind, of course, I assume she means, any chaos in the creations found within Sirius C is totally my doing, either directly or indirectly by encouraging other 90 fragments to get their hybrid on. I'm not shocked, and that's going to be a big sorry, not sorry for me, because it's more like a you're welcome. Because what's the point of creating if you can't mix things up and create beyond the bounds of current existence, right? Okay, I think we understand what Sirius C is now. So let's go ahead and move on to who the unicorns are. While they may appear to be creatures that exist within the realm of Sirius C, they are not the same as the other creatures found there, or even creatures at all. They were not created, brought into existence by the souls of 90 fragments. Actually, that's true and not true. So let me try to rephrase that. They were not created, brought into existence as sovereign creatures by the souls of 90 fragments. Vague, I know, but where is the fun in giving it all away at once? This girl likes a good mystery and a good unfolding. As we got into during the 8-8 portal activation, unicorns appear different for different people, much the way that guides and beings of light from different galactic races do. Guides, because they will always appear in and take the form of whatever we will best receive them and their role in our journey as. Beings of light from different galactic races for much the same reason. The appearance of a galactic race from one individual to the next is different based on how we will best receive them. When in reality, our guides and all beings of light, including ourselves, are just orbs of energy, balls of light, indistinguishable from one another beyond the different colored rays and frequencies, what we would consider the auras that we are emitting to others. Unicorns are different. They are not beings of light appearing how we will best receive them individually. They are intentional expressions beyond those orbs of energy, beyond those balls of light. In their true form, expressed by the souls of 90 fragments, they are crystalline, walking prisms that both infinitely reflect and emit the full rainbow of rays, the frequency of innocence and unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope, because that is what they are. That is what they hold. Is it clicking for anyone yet? The unicorns of Sirius C were not created or brought into existence as sovereign creatures by the souls of 90 fragments, but rather they are intentional expressions beyond the souls of 90 fragments. They are the souls of 90 fragments. They are the form the souls of 90 fragments choose to appear in when interacting with us, when guiding us, when emitting and sharing the rainbow rays, the frequency of innocence and unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope with us, allowing us to still connect with it, even when we have lost it, even when it is being withheld from us, to protect it from us until we are ready to hold it once again. And yes, as a soul who is a 90 fragment, as a co-creator of the 0 point realm that is Sirius C. I am a unicorn of Sirius C. This is how I can see their true form, how I can see the expression of my own soul in that form, which is something I discovered during that live series I took last month. Super new. I know. It's a little crazy. We were in a meditation to connect with unicorns, and the one I saw, it didn't look like what was being described, even though what was being described was a vast array of colors and ways that the unicorns could appear. Instead, it looked like the one shown on the cover image for this episode, crystalline, a prism reflecting a rainbow out around it, emitting a rainbow out around it. And then we were guided to get on the unicorn that came to us, to ride it to Sirius C, but I couldn't do it. Me and this unicorn literally had this moment where it was like, you can't ride me, silly, because you are me. What? I'm standing there in this meditation, looking at this crazy different unicorn that is telling me that I'm it. And I'm scratching my head while everyone else is already riding theirs into the sunset, up to Sirius C. And then I see it. The more I look at the unicorn in front of me, the more I realize that I'm seeing it as if it was a reflection in a mirror, not as something that was physically in front of me or separate from me, moving with me, like your reflection moves with you in a mirror, which that childlike innocence within me was like, oh, duh, I can't ride you because no matter how we move, we are mirror images of each other. There was no amount of maneuvering that would have put me on top of it because it would always be directly in front of me. We figured it out though. I put my hand on it, the mirror, the unicorn, and we continued on with the meditation. There was definitely a giggle fest getting to that point though. I am sharing this part of the unfolding for me because all souls containing the 9D fragment of their galactic monad have the ability to experience this, to see that reflection of their soul as a crystalline unicorn, if they are ready and open to doing so. Now, for those of you that are not 9D fragments, and there are far more of you than there are of us, not to worry. While you will not have a unicorn that is an exact reflection of your individual soul, you do have a specific unicorn associated with your soul, connected with your soul. And that is because each 9D unicorn serves not only as a transmitter to all, but as a guide to the other 5 fragments to separate from their galactic monad, including yours. So if you are a 4D to 8D consciousness fragment of your galactic monad, you have a unicorn guide that is the 9D consciousness fragment of your shared galactic monad. A unicorn that is unique to you. That unicorn will reflect your connection in its appearance, its color, its horns, whether it has wings or not. It will often reflect the color of the ray or rays that your fragment possesses or that you're currently working on or stepping into in your journey. The same with the rest of its appearance. And in turn, if you are fortunate enough to be able to see other unicorns beyond your unique guide, you will often see them in the same way, as a reflection of the unicorn that is unique to your soul, that is connected to your soul. Not everyone will be able to see them in this form either. For those who are not ready to receive their true form or to receive the unicorn connected to their soul, those that are currently too far off the path of the frequency of innocence, of unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope, you may not see unicorns at all. Or if you do, they will often take the form that others have described them to you, or the form of what you read or see in books, shows, or movies, what you are familiar with and will recognize. Regardless of where you are at in your journey, however, the meditation and journey that follows will aid you in connecting with the unicorn that is specific to you, whether as a reflection of your soul for 90 fragments or as a guide connected to your soul for other fragments. All you need to do to receive that is to be in the present moment with me and be open to receiving them. If you are able and willing to do so, I ask that you simply say yes, either out loud or within your mind. Set that intention. Good. Now, I'm going to have you sit in a comfortable position with your hands facing palms up on your lap or at your side, and begin taking deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you do so, I want you to naturally allow your eyes to close and set aside, let go of all thoughts, emotions, and circumstances that might interfere with your ability to be open and to receive, while I connect in deeper with our guides and with your energy field and consciousness, wherever you might be and whenever you might be listening. Okay, I'm going to have you take 3 more deep breaths with me. And with each inhale, I want you to think or say, focusing on embracing innocence. And with each exhale, I want you to think or say, focusing on releasing all in opposition to it. Focusing on embracing innocence. Focusing on releasing all in opposition to it. Focusing on embracing innocence. Focusing on releasing all in opposition to it. Focusing on embracing innocence. Focusing on releasing all in opposition to it. Good. Once again, our guides for this meditation and journey are Syrian Star Mother Isis and Thoth in his true form of Archangel Raphael. I am receiving that they are not going to be active participants, however. You will sense them moving around us in a circle, holding space and facilitating, but not guiding or speaking through me. Apparently this one will be all me. Okay then. If you have not already done so, go ahead and allow your physical eyes, your outer eyes, to close. And I'm also going to have you close your inner eye, because the journey that we are going to take together in many ways will be through my eyes and woven together with threads of energy that will allow you to see what I see and feel what I feel. A sensory experience and journey. Not only that, I, along with our guides, will be aiding your unicorn, whether a reflection of you as a 9D fragment or a guide for you as one of the other fragments, in coming through to connect with you using those woven threads. A few more deep breaths, connecting in deeper with each other and the circle being created by our guides. Hear the sounds of a forest coming not just through our meditation track, but from beyond it. The rustling of leaves on the trees and of animals moving through the bushes. And if you listen even harder, the dripping of dew from the plants, the fluttering of birds' wings, of butterfly wings, the steady hum of bees as they move from one flower to the next, the weaving of webs by spiders, the heartbeat of Gaia. Feel her around you. The warm sun on your face. A cool breeze swirling around your arms. Blades of grass brushing against your skin beneath your feet and legs as you sit upon it. The dirt beneath it, holding you, grounding you. Peace and connection with it. Smell her around you, in the grass beneath you, the wildflowers around you, the clean air around you further out still. See the colors of all of it behind the eyelids of your inner and outer eyes. Not as solid shapes, but as threads of energy, of frequency, all slowly weaving together into a rainbow that surrounds you, that protects you. It is through this rainbow that we find ourselves transported from a forest located on Earth, from Gaia, to a forest created by the souls of myself and other 90 fragments, to Sirius C. All that you sensed before, it is still there, only heightened, more vibrant, more alive. The sounds, the sensations, the smells, the colors, not inherently more vibrant, but more so because they are all free from the global weight of distortion found on Earth right now. You feel lighter here, free of that weight as well, surrounded by the frequency of innocence, surrounded by unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope that created all here, that emits from all here. I want you to sit in that feeling for a few moments while I continue to weave, bringing in light codes to support you. Allow that feeling and the codes to flow around you, then to flow within you more and more as you breathe it in deeply and release all that is in opposition with it back to source. Arei sharari, arei sharawoy agade, arei sharari, arei sharare, arei sharakoy agade, arei sharakoy agade. Arei sharakoy agaria, agaria rishwoy sharare, arei sharakoy agade, arei sharakoy are, arawoy ade, arawoy ade, arei sharakade agadi, arei sharakoy agade. Arei sharareya, arei oya garia, aragade sharaku oya gade, agadi sharagareya, arei sharaku oya gadi, arei oya gadi, arei Arayu, arareya, arareya, aragadi, argui, agadi, argadi, argui, agadi, arish, aragaya, agarish, karaku. Oi, are, arago, oi, are, sharare, sharagoy, akadi, araoi, akadi, areoi, akadi, are. you are ready to receive. I call forward your unicorn, your reflection for some, your guide for others, and the energy of the unicorns for others still who are not yet ready to receive theirs. I ask them to step within the circle our guides are holding for us, to begin walking in a spiral from the edges in, bringing them closer and closer to you, to where you can sense them. And as they do so, I'm going to have you begin swaying your body in a circular motion, clockwise, into the future, where you will connect with them as they move counterclockwise, drawing them to you through your connection with them, meeting them in the middle. But it is not you rising to meet them, to greet them. It is your inner child from an age and a point in earth time that you were still full of innocence, from an age and point in earth time when you were still full of unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope, from an age and point in earth time before you began to stray from that path through no fault of your own. And I emphasize this because it is important for you, not just in connecting with your unicorn in reflection or guide form, but in your journey in general, to understand that the frequency of innocence, that unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope are your right, that you are worthy of them, that you deserve them, that they are within you still to this very day, awaiting your return to them. Allow yourself to know that, to believe that, as your inner child stands tall in those things, as your inner child calls your unicorn reflection or guide closer and closer still, with their arms outstretched, open and ready to receive them. Feel their presence, their energy, their light coming closer and closer and closer, entering the rings that are the bodies surrounding you. Causal, spiritual, energetic, where some may feel them stop just within your field, and further still for others into the mental, the emotional, and maybe even the physical bodies. And when you feel them come as far through those bodies as they can in this very moment, in alignment with your current openness and readiness, I want you to go ahead and open your inner eye and allow yourself to join your inner child in seeing them before you. Allow yourself to join your inner child in connecting with them. Allow yourself to receive the frequency of innocence, the unconditional love, trust, wonder, and hope emanating from them in waves that wash over you, that initiate a cleansing within you. I say initiate because they cannot do all of the work for you. They can only help set you back on the right path by aiding you in understanding what that frequency feels like, what those things feel like, by providing you motivation to seek those things out in your own life, in your experiences, in your emotions, in your thoughts, in your energy field and beyond, by providing you the encouragement to push through the uncomfortable that initially comes from those changes to the other side and all that is waiting for you to reclaim it. I'm going to be silent now, holding space with our guides for you to connect with your unicorn and to receive from them further. Know that you may return here anytime that you would like, that you may reconnect with your unicorn reflection or guide anytime that you would like, whether through this meditation and journey or on your own. With gratitude and love, thank your unicorn reflection or guide for coming forward, and thank your inner child for allowing you to form a connection with them. And once you have done so, go ahead and close your inner eye once again and begin swaying your body in a counterclockwise motion this time. Not moving through time, but rather traveling back from Sirius C to Gaia, using the rainbow threads surrounding you. Traveling back through your bodies, feeling more and more of the rainbow of energetic threads woven around you, beginning to fall away. Causal, 6, spiritual, 5, energetic, 4, mental, 3, emotional, 2, and physical, 1. Back to where you are grounded into Gaia. Back to your present surroundings. Taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And opening your eyes when you are ready to do so. Thank you for joining us for today's episode and for the meditation and journey we have just returned from. I hope that you were able to connect with your unicorn, whether in crystalline, reflected form, if you are a 90 fragment, or in guide form, representative of your connection with the 90 fragment that shares your galactic monad with you. If you have not had the opportunity to delve into our 8/8 portal activation, where we also spent time on Sirius C and with the unicorns of it, I encourage you to do so. The timing of your watching it does not matter. The energies within it remain within it, infinitely ready for whenever you are able or ready to receive it. I will include it as a recommended video at the end of this, as well as link to it in the description. Agadish, gadagadi.